Hey yo, you beautiful mother flickers. So, chest session, and this one was, as always, mixing it up, changing it up, feeling it, mind to muscle, getting that connection. Yeah, I started on some pressing rather than the fly. So, usually, as you see, I start on a fly, build the weight up, and then add plates onto it. I do this into this set, but I put them in at a different part because I don't know about you all, but every so often I feel you exert yourself in the flies because you're putting so much effort in. Well, when you're doing the stack and adding two lots of 25 kilo plates as well, that's a lot more weight. So yeah, you kind of like already burn yourself out before you try and hit your compounds. But anyway, that is always a good thing to do, I believe, as well. So then you're not actually having to use as much weight, which means you're also putting a lot more work in because you are pre-exhausted. So started on the incline and just varied the motions from like a press, a fly. I am, as you all know, working around injuries. So as you can see here, the left is going back a lot further than the right. Um, One of the main reasons I don't bench press like with like a barbell, not just because of the high injury risk to reward kind of so many times. It can go wrong, like just foot placement, hit, pull your shoulder out not quite right on the bar. It could be anything, and that's it. Boom, you've ripped the pec off. Now I done a T2 tear to my chest, which was recent. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to go anywhere near the barbell. And obviously dumbbells, I love them. I don't know what it is, I seem to get more activation out of it as well. That said, years ago I had quite a nasty chest accident, and I ripped a lot of the fibres off from the sternum section of your chest. So anyway, I like to warm the shoulders up, get it all going. So like do this variation of an upright row. I actually got it from Mike O'Hearn and CT Fletcher, that is. And then obviously just changing the way you sit obviously changes the way you pull and activate those muscles. So I kind of like do a row and a shrug, or a shrug and a row. So then you're hitting your kind of your mid traps as well, or your traps just in general with the shrugging motion. And I do a few different sets of it because, like I said, the whole idea is just to get blood in that area and get the body ready for what you're about to ask for it to do. Also, if you warm your shoulder blades up properly, I do believe in here as well, I do these ones which is a rehab motion for your rotisserie cuff. I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember, but I think I did it in this video. But anyway, yeah, once you warm them up enough, if you imagine when you're on the bench and you are pressing, so it doesn't matter whether that's in barbell, dumbbell, machine, whatever, when you actually push your back into that pad, you want to be like trying to grip onto it for dear life with your shoulders. So if you've got all this activation from doing these kind of warm-up sets in your shoulder blades, you are more likely to stay stable and locked into the bench without having to whack a load of chalk on your back and stuff. It's just something to try, bearing in mind. And yeah, just, it's just different, isn't it? And it works. It works for me. It may work for you. It may not. And also, like I say, with injury. Oh, there we go. So this movement here. So you let them hang, and then you pull your shoulder blades up like a shrug, and then you kind of rotate them out. I'm trying to keep it as a layman term as possible. All simple terms. Yeah, and then you press it up above you. This is absolutely brilliant for shoulder mobility and health and rehab for shoulder work. And it was actually one I got from a physio many years ago. So that said, don't try and think you have to use a lot of weight. You may go up in weight over time, but it's really not something to do with that. And then I've done the Y fly. So again, really good for shoulder mobility, health, like stabilizing the shoulder, but also phenomenal at building your mid trap without having to do like a shrug movement. So yeah, give it a go. Also mix this one up with doing like a fly like that. So it's almost like you're swimming like a butterfly for your rear delts. Again, just forcing more blood in, getting that mind to muscle connection, getting your body ready for what you're going to ask for it. So yeah, back over to the cable row. This was because I was actually going to do a back and a chest session together, but then I decided, because I started really lagging energy due to health, it become more chest than back. But I still put as much in as I could with the two, because obviously this was pre-op, so I wanted to get as much of a good workout in before I have to have, like, it's a month off, I believe. So it's driving me insane already, and it's only been just over a week. So anyway, these variations of a deadlift on belted squat machine are brilliant, absolutely brilliant for building that sort of stability and shocking the body and shocking the muscle, without actually putting too much stress on your lower spine. So a lot of normal deadlifts, you do put a lot of stress on it. So anyway, I then went straight into the heavy weights. Because I'd already got a feel for it, I was already prepared for what I was about to do. So I did a few sets on the heavy, and then I backed off. So instead of pyramiding up and then coming back down, I just went straight from heavy down to, like, there you go, now look, I'm 40s. But on one of these, I won't just go, like, say, so I've done the 60s, then 50s and 40s and 30s and 20s. I'll mix it up. So I went from, as you saw, warming up and getting all the movements in with the 20s and the 10s, straight into the 60s. So then that means when I'm drop setting it or super setting it, I might do half the amount of weight. I may drop it by a couple of kilos. I may drop it by like 20 kilos. It all depends on how I feel. I just like to shock it, like constantly shocking the body. And occasionally you'll notice I put my feet up as well. So you are literally just using your chest, and it stops you as well from arching your back. So you'll see a lot of the time people really arching their back when they're in an incline. So then you've put the movement into a flat bench movement. So the whole purpose of you putting it up on as an incline, you've now defeated that by putting it as a flat bench, because you're arcing your back so much. So you really want to try and keep your back as flat as possible on the pad. So I found what I have to do that is sometimes put my feet up on a bench, or on the bench that you're led on dumbbell rack. Just mix it up with your foot placement, so you're not always stabilizing yourself. So you've got to use more stabilizing muscles, because your feet are not, like, planted in the ground, which is giving you that kind of stability and safety. Obviously it's a safe thing to do, keep your feet on the floor, but if you really want to hit your chest, yeah, try it. I found it worked over the years, and it was another way of getting better mind to muscle connection. So yeah, went back up to the 50s, and then thought I'd just rep them out. I didn't have any particular rep range in mind, but yeah, I think I ended up doing 15 on these anyway with the 50s. So yeah, that's another thing. I don't really have it set in stone what I want to do. I know people will moan at that and say, oh, you need to log it all in. Yeah, that's true, you should, because then you can progress and know where you're at, and if your weights are going up, which means you're improving or whatever, or see if something's working. But like I say, I like to, for myself, for it to work, I just need to keep shocking it. So that's why I went over to this lat pull down, because like I said, I was trying to do back and chest at the same time. Supersetting basically, and then it shortens your rest period as well, so you're burning a lot more calories. There we are, another variation of a shrug. Then went back over to the belted squat machine to do a few more deadlifts. I think I went up to 403.75, I think, kilo in the end on this one, 25 kilo plates. But yeah, sometimes I do like 3 reps, sometimes I do 8, sometimes I just do 1. It literally all depends on how I feel and how much I want to shock it. So this was more at the beginning of the session. I got the videos around the wrong way. So anyway, yeah, then stretching the lats back out, stretching the back out by doing this pull down. The variations always change as well. So like here, if you were to put your hands straight out in front of you, and then grab the bar, that's like your range of motion, your natural sort of pull, if you were, like where your arms and your shoulders and everything's gonna feel natural. If you're going slightly wider than that, then it's off your normal like line of motion. That said, I do like to mix it up and do that, but recently I've only been pulling it to my chin. So this, I find personally, really helps. And after listening to Derek Lampford as well, Mr. Olympia, or one of the Mr. Olympia competitors, it's a really good way of just hitting that top section of your back. So if we, to keep it simple, literally the top of the shelf, like your shoulders area basically, so all your rhomboids and little muscles that come into play, but we'll just say the top of the back. So yeah, I find that works amazing for hitting that. Then went over to the seated row, and obviously getting hot, so taking the hoodie off now, or the pump cover, depending on what you want to look at it as. The V-bar rows, I love these, and Terry Hollins the other day was making a very valid point when he was in Metroflex gym, and he was saying about how people say, oh, it's not optimal because of the range of motion, you know, you're not going to grow a big back. Every person who does these, pretty much, sorry, let's just go with almost every person who does these has a really good back. If we go by Olympia standards and people who compete, they all do it. Same as rack pulls, because they have a purpose. They work, like. And this is where I was on about that slightly wider grip than shoulder. So if I put my hands out in front of me, I'll then go thumb width away from me. Again, I then feel this more for the top portion of my back. And as you can see now where I've got the jumper on, you can see the activation in that area. So you can see that it actually works. And it feels amazing. That's not to say that I don't go in there and I'll pull it all the way down to my chest or my sternum. Like, I literally vary. It depends on what I'm trying to hit, what I feel at the time, and where I need to work on, or how I feel I need to work on. And because I was doing quite a few heavy presses, I was trying to keep it all upper back focused. I do some like mid back and lower back as well. This machine press is brilliant. So it's one of the best ones I've come across for stability and feeling locked in. And because you can use it like each side individually, so you don't have to, like, you're not limited to like just stay fixed. You can work on like your weaknesses, or like put a few more reps in on one side, or just literally use it one arm at a time. I find it's one of them ones where you feel safe. You can actually overload it with confidence, and you're not going to sort of injure yourself. So as you can see by some of my old videos, putting 5-6 plates aside, and it felt good. But that's not to say that I don't often use a lightweight just to feel the muscle, or to do a pump. So a lot of the times I like to drop the weight right down and then just flood the muscle full of blood. So this one here, this dual cable row machine, is brilliant because it's directly behind you. So you can use a normal dual cable, but I don't know what it is. This one, I think it is because it is literally coming from behind you, but in the center. You get more activation out of that sort of top portion of your chest. So bicep curls, the only reason I really do these in these sets is for stability in the arm. Because for those of you who don't know, obviously your bicep plays a big part in stabilizing your shoulder, your arm, and things like that. So, which is why the long head wraps around the top of your humerus in your shoulder. So yeah, it is quite important to have that stability. Obviously, yeah, you can see the tape on my arm, so I have an injury with my left arm. So I am seeing someone about it privately, but like you said, it's going to be like an onion, and it's just peeling away the layers after each session to try and fix it. So it's going to be a long process, but as I can't do anything other than heal at the moment because of the op, yeah, it should heal quite quickly, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. So here we are with the kind of mid-back section now, like I was saying earlier. So I was keeping the elbows really high, and now they drop ever so slightly, like almost like a 45 degree. So now I'm hitting more sort of mid, but I try and always get that row in, either pull it back, then, sorry, row it and then shrug it, or shrug it, then row it, or kind of shrug, row together, just to keep getting that mind to muscle connection and to feel it and to, yeah, get a better understanding on how it all feels and to see if I can create more muscle connection to my brain. So when you stand on stage and you pose, you can really make those muscles sort of pop and come out. Because at the end of the day, you can't see your back, but they can. They can see it extremely well. And obviously they're judging you on it. So you need to make sure you're doing everything in your power to be able to create as much mind to muscle connection as possible. Or it could cost you. It could cost you a place. It could cost you points. It could even cost you the show. Like, you know what I mean? It's, you can't see what you're actually doing. That said, though, I personally believe my back is my strong point, comparison to my front. Like, I don't rate the front of me whatsoever. But it is work in progress, and I love that bit though. There, look, it's like a proper little Christmas tree, and you even had the stalk at the bottom of the back. I've always wanted to make that pop out, and recently I've been able to do that. So yeah, I'm quite chuffed about that. But anyway, it's all about that having fun. So enjoy.